What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am, and there's a certain state that I don't think's having a great day, and that's the state of New York, and actually another state too, California, because it seems like more and more companies are just trying to find ways to get out of those two places. For most of the time I've been alive, like New York and California were the places where everybody was going, everyone was moving there, all the business was there. And it looks like even businesses that are like basically recognizable with the city themselves are even deciding to branch out. This article I found: Goldman plans new Dallas campus, extending bet on hub in Texas. And honestly, if there was ever some companies that I just figured would kind of have to keep their locations central to New York, like massively, it was the main Wall Street banks, you know what I mean? But Goldman Sachs especially just is like so iconic with Wall Street. The fact that they're starting to send workers to other states, getting a lot more hubs. I know they announced one in Florida too. Just kind of goes to show you that they're getting kind of tired of all the stuff going on in those locations. It's a lot more fun to go live in Texas where you got no state taxes and you can buy 17,000 acres of land for 4 cents on the dollar. Goldman Sachs Group is on the hunt for a new office campus in Dallas that could become the Wall Street Bank's largest presence in the U.S. outside of its Manhattan headquarters. Executives are in advanced talks with developers as the firm scouts for expanded space in North Texas, a region known for steakhouses, luxury retail, and low taxes. The move could boost Goldman's presence there to rival an older outpost in Jersey City, where the bank's tower looms over much of the local skyline, and even supplant it in time, according to people with knowledge of the situation. So as it says there, it looks like they're basically trying to slowly replace their hubs that they have in like Jersey City, that's an extremely high tax location. And obviously, I just think this makes sense. You don't have to like it, we can both agree that Goldman should pay more taxes or whatever. I don't know, whatever your opinion is. But regardless of what your opinion is, companies are going to likely move to the places where there is lower taxes, especially when you're in a situation where a lot of people are moving to the places with the lower taxes. I almost feel like what happened is nobody wanted to be the first person to do it. Like, everyone was like, okay, New York and California are super cool. We're going to stay here. Sure, we would save a lot of money if we moved other places, but we don't want to be like the only person in Nevada. And then as soon as like HP and Tesla moved, that was like, okay, it's over now. And then everybody started moving. It was like a giant wave. It was like, I don't know, an awkward situation at the dance where like the boys and girls are on opposite sides of the room. And then once one person breaks the truce and like starts dancing, then everybody else follows because it's not weird anymore. It's like that. Basically, the heads of investment banks and massive corporations are as mature as people at a middle school dance, I guess. Honestly, I'm just surprised it took that long. Call me crazy, but I've never personally found the hustle and bustle of New York and LA like super appealing. Oh, I want to live around a bunch of people that only care about money. I mean, yeah, I guess to each their own. You got to get the bag, do what you got to do. But I've seen enough documentaries about Wall Street to know that the people on there tend to be a little bit crazy. The plan underscores how Chief Executive Officer David Solomon is seeking to reshape U.S. operations geographically as he looks to rein in expenses, placing thousands of jobs in cheaper locales, while the bank has been adding offices and workers for years in a number of strategic locations such as Dallas. The pandemic energized the effort as managers learned how feasible it is to run businesses remotely. We continue to grow our presence in the Dallas area, but cannot comment this time on our future expansion plans, said the company spokeswoman. Alright, so all that jargon there about the CEO reshaping U.S. operations geographically to rein in expenses is basically what I said. Dog, we can get stuff way cheaper in other places. I'm gonna be honest, you can probably build a pretty dope campus for your corporation in Dallas for the same price that you can rent a floor in a, Manhattan executive tower for like a year. Let's just be realistic here. There's a lot of places that have crazy overvalued real estate, because it's such a demand for it. And yeah, Goldman Sachs can just go build an insanely lit place over in Dallas and not really have to worry about it, and it's going to cost them a lot less. Not to mention, you keep your bankers happy. Like, if you're paying somebody $120,000 in New York City, that's a crap ton of money, but it's not a crap ton of money in New York. Like, yes, it's still a lot, but when you have to pay $3 grand a month to get an apartment that's not the size of a shoebox, and, you know, you're still pretty far from work. You don't drive, you take a taxi or you walk everywhere. You have to eat out a lot. Like, it's an expensive lifestyle. Everything's expensive there. $120,000 gets you a pretty normal life. 120 grand in Dallas, though, you get a house with a pool, you know, you have a view of the river, you can have a boat, and you still work for Goldman Sachs, but you're happier, which tends to lead to better output from your workers. Let's be honest, if your workers are happy, they do better. I know for a long time it was thought that, like, if I'm mean to my workers, it inspires them. It doesn't. You keep them happy, I promise you they work better. Goldman's other strategic locations in the world include Salt Lake City, Utah, still got state taxes, a lot cheaper than New York, though. Singapore, Warsaw, Bengaluru, formerly known as Bangalore, and together such places already host more than a third of the company's 40,500 employees. Like many other companies on Wall Street, the bank has also been developing plans in recent months to expand in low-tax Florida, such as West Palm Beach, where it's adding hundreds of jobs, and some senior executives have lobbied for an even bolder push there. So, basically, what's boiling down, and I don't like to say this, is it looks like New York's time reigning as, like, the place where you had to be to do any type of financial business is, coming to an end. If Goldman, which is like Wall Street, when I think of Wall Street, I think of JP Morgan, Goldman, like, those are the names I think of. If they're saying, all right, you know, over a third of us are already leaving and we're going to be moving a lot more people to Texas. Oh, and we're also moving a lot more people to Florida. I think they're probably going to be moving from New York and Jersey City and these super high tax locations near that area. And I wouldn't be surprised if more people followed suit. If you look at the logistics of just doing business, lower taxes when you're a billion-dollar company, even if you're saving 20% on $1 billion, that's $200 million. That's a lot of money. That's quite a bit of an incentive to leave. And I think, you know, the pandemic sped it up because they realized you can actually do business remotely. If you have hubs all over the place and then the hubs communicate via Zoom, it's entirely possible to make that work. You can do that. You don't have to have one place where 30,000 people are in one city. It just doesn't have to be that way, and it probably saves them a lot of money to be in all these different areas. And if you think of it from an influence point, you know, suddenly they have 10,000 jobs in 8 important states instead of 40,000 jobs in just one. Political standpoint, it makes sense to them too. While costs are a driving factor, the Wall Street giant is also betting on it will have advantages in recruiting by spreading out too. Not everyone wants to live in a densely populated financial capital such as New York, and it can be easier to lure and retain talent when there isn't a slew of major Wall Street banks mere blocks away. So like I said, there's a lot of advantages. Costs definitely help, but, you know, I definitely think it would help with talent as well, bro. There's probably a lot of traders that just aren't appealed with living the New York lifestyle, dude. They're probably really good at the stock market, but they don't need to work for Goldman. They can just go live in Texas, trade on their account, and if they're good, you know, they'll be A-okay. And I'm sure talent retention is really hard on Wall Street, where, like, if someone's good at trading, the bank across the street is just like, we'll double your money, whatever, come over. And they ain't got no loyalty to you. It's New York, where, like, that's just is what it is. That's the culture around there. You go to where the grass is greener, baby. But if there is nowhere else to really go, if, like, Goldman's the only place there, I guess it's easier to retain talent by default, just by, like, the way it is. But, you know, I'm not an expert. I just think it's interesting to see how many companies are starting to leave the places that everybody used to think were like, there's no way any company will ever leave LA. It's just too important. Well, they're increasing the amount of stuff that they're filming in Georgia a crap ton, and a lot of companies in the tech area have already left. New York is the financial capital, dude. There's no way any companies will leave, and like every Wall Street bank is like, we're moving somewhere in Florida or somewhere in Texas, slowly right now, but probably a lot more later. Even like individuals aren't living in California anymore. All the celebrities are on their way out, dude. Like it's just... Surprise, surprise, people don't like to pay more taxes if they don't have to, and the world of Zoom showed everybody that you don't have to do everything 2 blocks away from each other. You can be spread out, and it still works. Either way, bro, as I said, if you're into Wall Street banking and you live in Texas, I guess this is good news for you, but that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, I would really appreciate y'all pressing the like button, you know, commenting down below what you think, subscribing if you're new, turning on those notifications. One last thing I gotta say, obviously, I didn't really give any advice, but this isn't financial advice. I'm an idiot talking over CSGO gameplay. you know, I'm a moron. I just like to follow this stuff because I guess I'm like a fanboy. Some people fanboy NFL teams. I'm just like, oh, like Goldman's moving headquarters. I also do like NFL teams, so I'm just a mega loser. Anyways, as I said, that's gonna do it. Thank you very much to all the members on the channel. You guys help out an absolute ton. Use code Scrubae at the G Fuel checkout. Helps me out, helps you out. And check out the merch link in the description. I'm pretty biased, but it's swag-tastic if you ask me. And yeah, on that note, don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot. And hopefully I'll see you guys all next time with another video. I'm out. Peace.